And then when I was in the car, I said,
Oh.
bring something else, because you're gonna freeze.
A couple of months ago, Leslie had a short sleeves top, and I'm like, oh my God.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a Planning and Zoning Board meeting for the Village of Tequesta. It is February 17th. It is 5:30 p.m. Lance, may I have a roll call, please?
Jan Strand,
Here.
Stephen Egan,
Here.
Elizabeth Shower,
Here,
Leslie Dasher, James Hackett,
Here.
Teresa Maggio,
Here,
Sherry Ambrose, and we do have a new member, Miss Jean McEldown.
oh, hi.
Welcome. Thank you for
Welcome.
coming tonight. Our next item is the approval of tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have the approval of the previous meeting minutes of December 16th, 2021. Did y'all get a chance to review them in your packages?
Yes.
I will make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes of December 16th, 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. For tonight's agenda item, we have SPM 1-22, which is an application from Gallery Square South LLC for a site plan modification to install a 6-foot-high dumpster enclosure with a 112-square-foot concrete slab in the parking area per section 78-300. The subject property is located at 384 Tequesta Drive. Welcome.
Madam Chair,
And
before
I'll
we get
turn it to
started,
Matt. Yes.
this site plan is conducted in accordance with quasi-judicial procedures, so if you are speaking today on behalf of the application, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And now I turn to Planning and Zoning Board members. Have any of you had any ex parte discussions regarding this application, conducted any site visits? If you have, could you disclose those at this time?
No.
No,
I did a site visit.
a site visit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I drove by, but didn't really go in that town.
Ms. Maggio, thank you.
Thank you for coming tonight, sir. Could you please state your name
My name is Louis Gugliotta.
and your affiliation?
I'm the project manager. I'm an engineer as well as the project manager.
Thank you. Now, I understand you have a presentation for us?
I'm sorry?
You have a presentation for us?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Was I supposed to?
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
necessarily. Board, do you have any, I'll open the floor to the board. Do you have any questions on tonight's application?
I do have, what took you so long? What took them so long to decide to get a dumpster if they had all of that trash in the backyard, in their back, well, I mean, I think that's.
I don't believe that the owners of PERC understood the process that it required to obtain approval for a dumpster enclosure. And we started this, October last year? And they were talking about it before that, but they build a restaurant Mood across US 1. And when they came to put the dumpsters in, they put a couple of pieces of fence up and they put the dumpsters up. And they were under the impression that that's the process that needed to be done. Well, turns out we need to meet the 160-mile-an-hour wind load for where it's going. So that's a totally different ballgame.
Okay.
Wow.
Jim, you have the floor.
So I did a site visit, and because I was really concerned by this one. While I understand the importance of a dumpster, maybe staff can answer this question. We're proposing to put this adjacent to a home that is how many feet from our property line? Do we know how far that house is from the property line?
Since Nilsa will be giving testimony, I'm just going to swear. And
Oh,
do you
sorry.
swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So I'm just curious to know first, how far from the property line to the house, existing house to the east will be. I looked at code before I went to do the site visit, and I couldn't find in the code where it says that a dumpster should be a certain distance away from a residential zoning or building or anything like that from a commercial when they're adjacent to each other. And then I asked to make sure I wasn't missing it, and I don't believe there is. So how far is the dumpster location going to be from this existing single-family home? Do you know?
Mr. Hackett, as you just mentioned, the code is mute with regard to the location of dumpsters in relation to single homes. And to answer your specific question, I don't have the information how far will be the dumpster from the existing house that is on the right beside.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I can see it's close. That's fine. I understand. Do we have a code section that, I tried to find this, that speaks to permanent structures like a dumpster enclosure, how far that needs to be off a property line?
We treat dumpsters as accessory structures.
Okay.
You know, so each zoning district will have setbacks for principal structures and for accessory structures. However, if the code for C1, where this is located, and I'm reading from the code, it does not provide it only provides setback for front setback,
Okay.
15 feet. So with regard to the side setback, I would like to read into the record that the code says none except 10 feet at any intersecting street and if contiguous with any it says here any non-commercial district. So in this case, it will have, but again, this is for the principal structure.
Right.
So there are other parts of the code that will specifically says, like for example, R1 and R1 and R1A will say for the principal structure, this is the setback, and for accessory structures, you know, for pool cabanas or other things, the setback is different. But in this case, it does not provide a specific setback for a dumpster.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. That helped. So I guess my concern again gets back to we're about to propose a dumpster going adjacent to an existing residential house and family that lives there, and I think that's an absolutely terrible idea. So there is the proper west property line that's 64 feet wide. There's a little property that's in the, let's see, southeast corner. That's a vacant piece of property. There's a piece of land just east of that property line. Was there not enough room to put it there? And that might be an answer for you, sir. And this is where I'm specifically talking about.
It's a different piece of property.
No, I'm talking about on your property, right here. There's a significant piece of land right here.
Okay.
That looks like it handled that.
Okay, so on the southeast, southwest side?
So it is the south, yes.
Yes, southwest, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Part of the reason it was picked, the location was picked, was Waste Management needs total access in and out. And because we have way more parking spots than required in this parking lot. And I forgot what their number was, it's like 40 more than what we needed. And the position was picked partly on the suggestion of Waste Management for their pickup and drop-off with their truck. Because they're going to come in front and go out the side.
I understand that, but we're not in the business of picking up and dropping up trash and trash cans.
Okay.
So I understand that. Unfortunately, that doesn't work on this site because you're going in one exit and coming and going out another.
Correct.
Where you could go backwards. You could do it the other way. So if you can do it one way, you can do it the other way. So the question would be, again, is I think this needs to be looked at somewhere else. I don't think we should be putting it adjacent. I mean, we're talking 10 feet, 15 feet tops, putting a dumpster where it's just going to have food. that close to a residential. And actually, I was a little bit shocked that the code didn't have something to that effect. But the circulation could change. They could come in off of DeQuesta Drive and leave off Beacon, just like they can come on Beacon and leave off DeQuesta Drive. And they would have the same circulation. So I guess the question still lies is there enough room on that property line that's adjacent to a vacant piece of property that we could put the dumpster? And is this a rollout dumpster? Are they,
No.
is it something they're
No.
picking up and lifting over their head and
Yeah.
dropping back down? So
Yeah.
that makes it even worse. You're putting this noise and smell adjacent to this house, and I think this is a terrible idea and a terrible location. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Anybody else? Steve, you're coming.
James makes a good point.
He does.
He does. That's a,
On that southwest corner, just out of curiosity, I'll ask you a question. I know Waste Management has their restrictions for lifting and tree canopies.
Correct.
Yes.
Do you know if that was ever discussed as far as for that southwest corner? If that
I
was the
believe it
reason
was
why-
not discussed. It was
Okay.
just that they came in and that was their recommendation on the south side.
Okay.
And we did send letters out within the 300-foot radius, and we have not had a response from many of the neighbors.
Yeah,
want
please,
to go
I would like to mention that this was a special exception use application. In the staff report, we explained that because shopping plazas are special exception uses, so on page 2 of the staff report, we explain so that this was heard by the village council at the February 10 village council meeting. So because this was a special exception use, then part of the process is to send a letter to all the 300-foot radius property owners.
Yep.
So, and we have no comments. Nobody came none of the property owners on the 300 radius came to the meeting. I have not received phone calls with regard to this. So,
I'm sure, can I ask a question on that? So, I'm just trying to understand, that's
yes,
all.
of course.
What went to the council?
Okay. Shopping center in this district is an special exception use. So any time that there will be a modification to the shopping center, then it's like a modifying the previously approved use.
Okay.
So that any modification, it goes to the council for the use,
Okay.
just the use, you know.
So it went to the council, sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry. It went to the council just to say they can put a dumpster enclosure out there? It didn't say where, or what it looks like, or aesthetics, or size, or
No,
anything?
we brought the prints in for the location and what it looked like.
Well, that's what I'm asking staff to tell me.
Okay.
Well, part of the staff package to the council included the site plan, included pretty much the same information that is in front of you.
Okay, so then what are we approving?
Okay. This was for the use. Basically, the question was, can this modification, which is the dumpster, be located? Can the use of shopping center allowed this modification, which is the dumpster? It's the modification to the use. So the Planning and Zoning Board is looking at the site plan, which is, you know, so the council approved the use, the modification of the use, which is adding the dumpster to the shopping plaza.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes.
You have something to say? Because I
Well,
still am questioning this. I still don't understand this process.
Gen-
because-
So site plan review, which is what what we are doing right now, is it's generally the review is limited to aesthetics, appearance, and if it conforms with the code. So it's very, there's no criteria that are evaluated. It's just exterior appearance and conformance with the dimensional requirements and other requirements of the code. So
I understand, and potentially this is something we should talk about in board comments, but I just don't understand how we can show the council a request for a dumpster, and we showed the location, we showed where it looked like. The applicant now thinks that that's where it's going, and now it's come back to us, and we don't like the location, and we don't like, and it just doesn't, it should have gone to council just saying, that's the request. They want to put a dumpster in. Not where, when, how, whatever, just to, and now, because now he just said it on record that, oh no, we showed them all that. And now we're saying, well, we don't like this location. So I just think there's a problem here, because I'm not sure what we're approving compared to what they approved. It sounds like it's the same thing. It's already been approved.
Yes, the use, they were reviewing the use.
I understand that.
They didn't review how it looked, the dumpster, or specifically.
But you can see how the applicant doesn't think that, because he just said he doesn't think that.
Well, and it's because the Gallery Square is so old, the Gallery Square never had a special exception use approval for shopping center, so it was non-conforming.
I understand that, I
So-
understand. I just
And
think
it's
we
the first time they've ever had
misrepresented.
a restaurant in that facility.
They don't have a dumpster, it was built in the 1950s, the
Yeah.
shopping
Yeah.
center.
I understand all that. I understand that. I think the shopping center needs a dumpster. I'm not questioning that. What I'm questioning is that the applicant went to council with a request to add a dumpster and showed where they want to put it. They got approved. Now they're coming to this board showing us where it's going, and we're approving the location and the aesthetics of it. We're not approving the use. We're approving where it is and what it looks like. And he said on record that he thought they had all that. So I'm just questioning, where's the difference between what they approved and what we approved? I understand it. I understand what you said, but that is a conflict with now the applicant, because there's a board member here who has serious concerns with this location.
And we'll definitely look at making sure that
That's
the
all I'm
approvals
asking.
are
Like I said,
separated.
Maybe this should have been board
going forward.
comments. That's all I was asking. Thank you.
Anybody else? Comments?
Well, I'm gonna make a comment that it makes sense that this location, this property needs a dumpster. It's in the middle of all residential, there's no dumpster. But this location that you're proposing to put it at is not a good location. That's my comment.
And sir, just to reiterate, you did have recommendation, the location was, you did have recommendation based on where the ingress and egress.
Correct. And my understanding, I'm trying to remember now, because it's been a while that I looked at the print, but it's some 20-some odd feet from the east boundary line. It's not on the property line.
No.
And then there's a
It looks
distance, of
very
course.
close to that guy's house.
Yeah.
And when you just look at it, and you're just like, if I was that guy that lives in that house, oof.
She raised her hand.
During public comment, you can ask.
Well, I don't have a problem with it. I know that behind other shopping plazas on US 1, their dumpsters are in the back. So I would just like to make a motion to approve SPM 1-22.
Sorry, Board Member Shower, if we can open it up for public comment
Oh,
before.
I'm sorry. Fine.
Or any other deliberations.
Okay. Okay. We'll open the floor to public comment.
Okay,
Ma'am,
no,
can
no.
you approach the podium?
Yeah, you'll need to state your name and, for the record.
My name is Jean McEldowney. I'm a new alternate to this board. My question is this. I see from everything that was sent to me, all of this trash, tons and tons and tons of trash. Was that visible to any of these properties as they stood?
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm saying, do you think all these property owners and anyone in the neighborhood is probably so relieved to hear about this dumpster? And that's just my question as I've been looking through all the pictures. And I think you just answered.
Madam Chair, can I say something to that?
Go right ahead.
I was the only one that raised my hand and said I did a site visit. There's not I understand there's 40 trash bins back there, but you don't see any trash. It's actually extremely well kept. And all of those trash cans are adjacent to the backs of the building. While that might not be aesthetically pleasing, it actually is extremely, I would be more concerned with that site with the trailers back there than I would be with the dumpsters. So, because there's 5 trailers back there sitting on the property. That would have just been my response. It actually is extremely well kept. I was shocked.
The pictures that I received is not like that at all, so
I can just tell you what I
I
saw today and.
Oh, what you saw today, okay.
That,
I
you know,
didn't get those.
Well, there's a
today.
lot of, I understand there's a ton of containers back there, and that's not the nicest look, and that's probably not the ideal
No.
situation, is clean. I agree this site needs a dumpster, I really do, I'm just not sure I like the location.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And sir, as the applicant, you have the opportunity to readdress any comments.
The only comment I'd like to make is, you just hit it at a good time. They pick up the cans twice a week right now out there, but I'm sure you all have the pictures of what the back of that building looks like. when-
Page 3 of the staff report shows a picture that I took.
Yeah.
Okay, we will close the floor to public comment. Do we have any comment cards that had come in? No? Okay, we'll close to the online side then. Liz, did you want to make a motion? Did you start to make a motion?
Yes.
Okay,
I would like to make a motion to approve SPM 1-22, Gallery Square South, for their site plan modification to install a 6-foot high dumpster enclosure with a 112-foot concrete slab in the parking area per section 78-300. Oh, and the subject property is 384 Cluster Drive.
thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Jan Strain,
Yes.
Steve Egan,
No.
Elizabeth Shower,
Yes.
James Hackett,
No.
and Teresa Manju.
Yes.
So 3-2 approval.
We were 3-2. I'm sorry, I didn't hear him.
Yes, 3-2.
Yes, 3-2. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Yes, 3-2.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Is that 3 yes? I missed it, it was a. One comment I'd like to make is, if we don't have to go through this process again, if it's really an issue with the village, we could, and of course, if you approve it, we can move the location of that. We haven't, it's not poured or anything yet. So, I mean, we're open, but whatever you feel is proper, we will do.
I do, as approved tonight, it's in the location. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not sure, but if the location is moved, it would have to be reassessed in terms of how it affects
Okay,
the
we're good.
ingress and egress.
Thank you very much.
But, thanks.
Thank you, sir. I'll open the floor to staff comments.
No comment.
No comment? Open the floor to public comment. No comment? I'll open the floor to board comments.
I have one question.
Go right ahead.
Nielsa, are you planning to address the zoning over where the people on Riverside Drive, where we did all of these special exceptions on? The more I drive over there, specifically just to look at that area, I mean, that whole street, whether they're in Tequester or Jupiter, they all have the same thing. Their properties are unique to other areas within the village.
Yes, this is our internal process. Community development has a glitch list of code sections that we need to improve. So it's already on the glitch list, and what I will do is elevate it to the village manager, and usually goes for a workshop with the council. So the answer is yes, we are in, I will elevate it to the village manager to consider putting on a workshop. And I was looking at the fences for, basically, is for the longest properties, and sometimes it's not really zoning district driven. It's more like the size of the lot. If the size of the lot is more than X amount, then they have this huge front yard, and that's when we encounter the situation that they would like to put the fence, in front of the house. So if you look at the zoning map from here, you will see that there are some areas that are in yellow, some areas that are more like the yellow one is R1, and then the other zoning district is R1A. So if you see it on the riverside where we had the variances, one side is R1A, the orange one,
Yeah.
and then on the north side, you see is R1. It's yellow. So to mention that, I think the code provision should be based on the length of the lot and not on the specifics of the zoning district, because there are two different zoning districts that have longer lots. So,
Well, and you've got property that's in Sequester Country Club, some of them that have long lots too.
yes, I think
Not that many, but there might be one or two.
the proposal will be based on lots that are longer than
The
could be
normal-
available. It could be, they will be allowed to have this fence in front of the house. So that's what we are looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board comments?
I guess, Matt, if you're gonna be looking at that, or things that don't affect the majority of the people, you're gonna look at dumpster locations. Because we just approved something that's adjacent to somebody's house, and that thing's gonna cause this town, this village, so much problems. You will hear from that neighbor. So, will you look at from commercial dumpsters adjacent to residential? And a minimum setback of at least 25 feet. I understand that they might have to seek a variance or something, but we just approved something that's going to be disastrous to this town, this village, excuse me. It's gonna set a precedent that.
I will also, if for this comment, I will also include that, and that, it could be also subject of, I will talk with the village manager, and, for him to consider put it in a workshop for the village council.
Thank you, Nancy.
Any other board comment? Can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Thank
Nobody
you.
said no.
Everybody's hungry.